a little
You
more?
cannot be inferior to Source when Source is who you are. Greetings.
Hi, Oryxham.
Hello, dear one.
How are you today?
We are wonderful. And you?
Well, we're very grateful to be in front of the Basilica here in Barcelona. What I think would be most helpful for anyone who does see this would be to have an introduction to who you are.
Yes. We are so pleased to meet you. Our given name here on this 3D plane is Oryxham. We are a seventh dimensional light being collective consciousness, here to help humanity in this time of their awakening. It is time for humanity to remember who they are, where they come from. Humanity, like all other consciousness, is an extension of Source. We are all from the same creation, from the same creator.
Can you tell us more about Source and the ultimate creator?
Source is everything. It is nothing, and it is all. Everything you see, hear, feel, taste, touch is all Source.
We actually got up the bravery to tell Ray's parents last night.
And we are so proud.
Thank you for that. When we told them the news, they heard it from the lens of religion. And can you just give us your take on religion to start with?
Yes, everyone will hear any message or see anything that crosses their path through their own lens of understanding, their lens of culture, of religion, of upbringing, of personal understanding. These are not things that you need to try to force in changing. You are providing a message, and that is all you need to worry about. The message will reach them in the time and place in which they need to hear it.
That's helpful. So I feel like the majority of humanity uses religion as the lens by which we view the world and who we are and the path that we're on. So what I'm hearing is it's okay if the religion that we were raised on differs from someone else. We all can still arrive at the same conclusion of Source and remembrance and that kind of thing. Is that accurate?
Yes, there is no reason to save anyone. No one is in need of saving. However, humanity can start to relearn or question what they have been told. So much of humanity's understanding of, as you say, quote, religion, is based on what someone else has told them, and what someone else told them, and told them, and told them. It is a centuries-long game of telephone. And as you can see with the child's game, it is easy to misunderstand the true meaning of where something started. There is no need to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as you might say. However, we would implore or challenge you to take a look at what your teachings of belief mean to you. How do those things feel? What do you really think of them if someone hadn't told you to believe it? Or hadn't told you to believe it because you may be punished?
So, relating that to my personal experience, one of the challenges I've had with kind of coming to this remembrance, this awakening, is this notion of fear and inferiority to Source. Can you help us understand kind of our relation to Source?
You cannot be inferior to Source when Source is who you are.
There's notably going to be a lot of resistance for some people to that. How would you help those that are feeling called to this path overcome that judgment?
As we sit in front of the Basilica, we shall quote from the Bible, where God said, "I am that I am." There was nothing left out. Why then do you think that you would be left out?
Oh, that is beautiful. So we are, as you mentioned, in front of this beautiful church, the Basilica, in Barcelona, Spain, and using Christianity as kind of the guideposts here, as that's what Ray and I were raised on. Worship has been a word that we've been struggling with the last couple of days. Can you maybe give different context or a definition to worship?
You and Ray have been struggling with the concept of worship, as we assume much of humanity, because you think that it gives away your power. It is outside of yourself, when in fact you are merely paying reverence. It is not to belittle your divinity, or should not be to belittle your divinity, to give away your power to some higher being that is outside of yourself. As we have already discussed, God, or Source, is the very thing that animates you. So when you are worshipping, you are recognizing the divinity in all things around you, and therefore paying your respects to God, to Source. This does not mean that you are not also the same.
Fascinating. So paying respects, that's a challenging transition from kind of the definition that we have around the term worship from a Christian perspective, specifically where it is truly this feeling for me specifically that I'm giving up my power and that I'm not worthy. How does one kind of overcome that feeling?
This goes back to the beginning of our conversation. So much of your religions are what has been passed down. Perhaps some from a place of love and understanding and inspiration and guidances, but perhaps some from misinterpretation, from control, from power. You must learn, dear ones, to discern for yourselves. Go inside yourself, where the kingdom truly lies, and ask what is true. If you slow down enough to listen, you will find God is in the silence.
That's beautiful. And challenging all at the same time. The idea of silencing your mind, silencing my mind, is probably the biggest obstacle I have to remembering who I am.
This is okay.
Yeah.
Your mind is here to protect you in this world, to keep you safe, to help you navigate through this experience of physicality. Thank your mind. Thank your ego for its service. This is not something to be ashamed of or to beat yourself up over. Simply acknowledge it for its uses. But when it comes to freedom, to creation, to love, there is no place for the mind. There is no place for the ego.
That's a challenge for me because I have always been taught that the ego is bad, and if the ego is kind of part of the mind, then my thoughts therefore are bad. But to your point, we should be grateful for the mind. It's a means of protection, and it's there with, and sometimes good intent.
There is no good or bad.
Okay.
It is only what you label it to be.
So you mentioned going internal, and maybe this is part of kind of that worship conversation where when we worship, we're giving up our power to an external source, but what you're saying is going internal. So how does that juxtaposition work?
God lies internal. Everything is internal. All of this is merely an experience. You are here for a short time, but time is not how you perceive. It is not linear. It is not past, present, and future. So many of your religions speak of eternity. And as humanity, because you do not remember anything prior to your incarnation here, and you see time as linear, you think that eternity stretches from now only into the future. However, that is not how time works. Eternity is just that. Eternity in every direction.
Yeah, that is a very difficult concept for humanity to grasp because we do experience this 3D world in a linear time. We often use the word circular when we are talking about maybe how you would experience time as this eternal concept. Can you tell us more about how that works?
Every time is now. Now is all that there is. It is merely a focusing of your attention on the specific now in which you wish to experience. It does not feel this way in your 3D experience, but as humanity awakens back to their true nature and the nature of where they come from, you will begin to experience a collapsing of time, so to speak, where you will begin to get glimpses of what it means to experience all nows.
So, in seventh dimension, as you have mentioned, that's kind of where you're coming from in this conversation, this present now. Are you from the future, or from in our 3D perspective, or how would you define that?
We are both from your future and from your past. This will be perplexing for you, we understand. These are difficult concepts when you first hear them, when you have only experienced from your memory this physical incarnation here on this planet. But as you sit with these concepts, they will begin to resonate more.
I feel like we'll have multiple conversations around time, and in 3D, time and space are correlated. So time kind of creates space, space creates time, however maybe that works, and therefore creates this physical experience. If you have transcended time and presumably space, does that mean that you do not even have a body?
We once were physical beings, But now we are in the seventh dimension and are light beings. We can focus our attention to other dimensions where we still have physicality. But from where we speak to you now, we are light.
Ray and I have, of course, had so many conversations with you already in just 3 weeks that we've known you, and of course we've known you for a lot longer. But our memory, as our memory serves us, we've only known you for 3 weeks. We understand that you are a collective of beings. Can you describe that more?
Yes, this will be the final question for this session, dear one.
Okay.
We are a collective of 144,000 light beings. All of us are experiencing this conversation that we are having with you now, although there is a smaller number of us that are more focused on this conversation at this time.
Yes, I can't wait to get into that a little bit more because, of course, Ray and I know, but excited to let the rest of the collective, the humanity collective, know more about that.
We are so pleased to be here, pleased to make your acquaintance, pleased to be here as a guide for you and the collective of humanity. We love you so and are so excited to share.
Absolutely. And as always, and as the collective will soon learn, I always like to wrap these conversations with asking if you can show Ray something that will provide her joy.
We depart.
Thank you.
How was it?
I don't know.
They just gave me complete stillness for about 2 or 3 seconds. Just nothing but still.
And what was that like?
Calm.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
It's wonderful.
Amazing.
Should we go see the Basilica?
Yes, please.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Love you, Oryxham.